This presentation is on Family Search Tree Overview. It is the second in a series of 18 presentations on basic family history tutorials. FamilySearch is the largest genealogy organization in the world. It is a free, nonprofit, volunteer-driven organization sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It has over 2 billion records and over 9 million users. Records are available for the United States, Canada, the British Isles, Europe, Latin America, Asia, and Africa. Millions of records are added weekly. After Googling FamilySearch, this is the first page you will see. You can create a free account if you don't have one, or click on Sign In to begin. If you need help setting up an account, you can refer back to the presentation on FamilySearch registration and settings in this series. If you have forgotten your username or password, click here to retrieve them. Information in these two boxes will change often. They refer to various things in the family tree that will help us get other information. Click on Next or Previous to see what they have to offer. Clicking on the blue eye here brings up the menu that shows what the green and blue yellow dot boxes mean. You can toggle between the records and temple to see who needs to have records added or who may need temple work. You can also go back to the most recent people you were working on here. You can also make a to-do list here. You can sign up for the partner sites here, but this will move around and you may not always see it here. Typing in this web address, familysearch.org/partneraccess, has always been reliable for signing up for the partner sites, regardless of where it's found on FamilySearch. You can access the partner sites right from the details page of a person, but you must be registered for these partner sites with a username and password. These sites are free to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. If you are between the ages of 13 and 17, you can get your own account through these partner sites if your parents approve and give you their email address. When you first go into your tree, you may not see anybody in your tree. To protect the living, they will not be in any database. We have to add in living people, even if other people in your family already did, if they don't come up. Once we enter a deceased person, the rest of the line will populate. Here is our new person. One line populated through, the other line did not. We have to keep adding members of this family down until we bridge them with a deceased. This line stops after the living people. So I click here to add the deceased husband of the next generation. I enter the information for this person's great-grandfather, Earl Sidney Overholt, then hit Next. I see him here with his wife, Hannah Mary Kogel. I know this is the right Earl Sidney Overholt with the right wife, dates, and places, so I add couple. Once I bridge the living with the dead, then you can see the rest of the pedigree populated. You can hold down the left mouse key to move your tree around. Clicking on these arrows will expand your tree. These icons on the top left are your navigation tools. The house icon will put you as a start person, say if you get way out there in your tree and you want to get back to yourself. Below the house icon, the circle just centers your tree on the screen. Under the circle, the broken square icon takes this part out of view, and the plus and minus sign make the tree larger or smaller. Clicking on Landscape brings down this menu for you to choose which you prefer. Descendancy for finding ancestors is explained in another video in this series entitled Descendancy Research and Family Search. Clicking Options will bring up this menu. You can see what the different colors of squares mean beside their name. Unchecking them will hide that feature. Say if I didn't want to see portraits, I could uncheck portraits and then I wouldn't see any pictures. Clicking them again will bring them back into view. Going back to this menu on the top left, besides seeing Landscape, Portrait, or Descendancy View, a recent feature they've added lately is the 7-generation fan chart. Here you are seeing what countries your ancestors were born in. Here are the ancestors who have sources and the number of sources. Here are the people with stories, people with photos, people with data problems, hints or research suggestions, and finally you can see ancestors who need temple work done. At the top of this screen there are 5 categories. Under Family Tree you can find a person in your tree by name or ID number. Some of the things are listed here as well. Lists are the lists of people you're watching, alerting you if anyone changes things in your tree. And family booklets are physical or online booklets by which you can fill out your family information before you enter it into Family Tree. Clicking on a tree takes you to this view with you as a root person, or clicking on a person will take you to a person detail page, either you or the person you worked on last. Over on the far right is a temple list where you can view your whole list of reserved names, or those that are printed or not printed or shared with the temple. Under Search, you can search the records, or go to Family Tree, Genealogies, Catalog, Books, or the Wiki. There is a separate video on this series called FamilySearch. Memories brings up all the memories in your tree to view different ways. There's also a separate video in this series called Adding Memories to FamilySearch. And last, clicking on indexing will bring you to that as well. And again, there is a separate video in this series on FamilySearch web indexing. I'm just dividing some of these things up in smaller bites so you can digest information as you have time and inclinations to do so. Clicking on Recents gives you the last 50 people you have viewed. Your name is always at the top. If you had an ancestor you weren't sure about how they were connected, or they had the same last name or came from the same town, you could add them as an unconnected person. Clicking on List will show you the people you are watching. If someone changes anything in your FamilySearch tree, FamilySearch sends you an email every week or so and lets you know. So if needed, you can go in and correct it, or contact the person who changed it and work on it together. Unwatched means it's being watched. You can click on Unwatch to stop watching a person. If someone sends a message to you, it will appear here with an envelope, and you can open it up and reply through FamilySearch. Clicking under your name will take you to your settings, source box, or you can sign out. This is a menu you will see under the Help menu. Under the Help Center, type in a question and click on the area you have questions about, such as family tree or memories. Getting Started gives some tips on getting started in your tree. Contact Us allows you to send a message or live chat or phone call to FamilySearch to find answers to your questions. The Learning Center has all kinds of articles and videos to learn about family history. Ask the community about a question on your ancestors that you're having trouble with. My Cases are reference numbers that FamilySearch gives you, so if you need to contact them again, you can use a reference number and you don't have to type the question in again. This is one of the places you can go to get into the Wiki. What's New is a way FamilySearch has to tell you what is new in FamilySearch. And last is Consultant Resources. This is a great site for seeing things in your tree and for helping others. This view is showing my ancestors' birth countries and also tells me I have 17 names that might be ready for the temple work, among other things. There are all kinds of resources for ward and family history consultants. There is a video in this series called Consultant Planner that explains how to use this. You will definitely want to check this out. Clicking right under a name will bring up a summary card. You can see their temple status here and the identification number or ID here. Because many ancestors pass down their family names from generation to generation, searching by the ID number rather than their name is the most effective way to search for your ancestor. This little star is by everyone's name. Click on this star when it says Unwatch. It means it's being watched by FamilySearch, and anyone that changes information on this ancestor, FamilySearch will send you weekly emails saying if someone has changed the information. That is beneficial because if someone makes drastic changes, it could affect your whole tree. From the summary card, you can see this person's tree or details, the person's page. We are going first to their person detail page. As of September 2018, the face of the details page has changed. Sections that have been on the same page have now been separated into separate pages. So on this first page, it's called the details page. You will find the life sketch, vital statistics, spouse and children, and parents and siblings. At the top, you view this person as a root person in a tree. Put a watch on them or view your relationship to them. On this page, the hints are here. Click on View Details to see more. You can go directly to the partner sites to research a person if you have registered for them. Here you can see all the changes that have been made on this person. Under Tools, a couple of new things have been added. The number of duplicates are now given to you, and you can directly merge by ID number, which is a more accurate way to merge rather than by name. Edit Labels is a way to further identify a person from a list of categories, such as an author or part of the Mormon battalion or musician and so forth. At the bottom, it's showing the various ways to print out a chart from your tree, and the purple light bulb at the bottom right will give you tips and tricks for working on a particular page. 2 new things have been added to FamilySearch recently. FamilySearch finds similar people. This is good because many people had similar names. The person you are exploring will be at the top. Sometimes they went by their nicknames in one record, or their middle name in another record, and their initials in another, as well as dates and places. You always want to look at the other people in the family. This lays it out at a quick glance. If you see a similar name and their dates and places and names of the family members are the same, it may be a duplicate of the person you are investigating and may merit further investigation. It may be that you will want to merge them or cause you to look a little deeper at your sources and relationships. Finding similar records is another feature they had just added, and I'm really excited about. Click here to go search records for an ancestor. Click to open the record you think might best match your ancestor. When it opens up, you will see similar historical records, records that you may not have thought to look for. This can save you tons of time. This feature does not replace the need for careful review to confirm whether each suggested record pertains to your ancestor. That is still your job. This pedigree icon shows which tree this record is attached to. As you click on this icon, look at the PIN number listed in the summary box. If this PIN number is the same as the person whose details page you're on, then this record is attached to their sources. If the PIN is different from the person you are working on, it may mean that there is a duplicate person out there that needs to be merged with yours. Look at these dates and places and family relationships and decide if these are the same person. This is a new page called the timeline. Events in a person's life are in order that they happened, and hence will also be included in this page. In the timeline, when you click on an event, like here on the birth record of a child, you can see on the map the flag will also be green, showing you exactly where that place is on the map. You can zoom in or out. Clicking on the satellite will bring up this view, and you can also zoom in or out. You can see you can get pretty close to the ground. The number of sources beside the word sources is now on its own page. Collaborate. This includes the notes and discussions on this person. Clicking Memories brings up all the pictures, stories, documents, and audio on a person. And Ordinances brings up their temple work status. Clicking on the legend will tell you what the colors mean. If you want to save a step to view sources, here is a trick to make that easier. Say you have the details page up, but you want to quickly refer back and forth to their sources. Right-click on Sources and then click on Open Link in a new tab. Then you can click on this tab to see details and on this tab to see sources. Once you have found your ancestor and verified them with some sources, you are ready to submit their name to the temple. So who can I do temple work for? When you go to submit a name to the temple, you can find this information included in the policy. We can submit work for immediate family members, direct line ancestors, that's parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and so forth, and their families, biological, adoptive, foster family lines connected to your family, collateral family lines such as uncles, aunts, cousins, and their families, your own descendants, possible ancestors, meaning individuals who have a probable family relationship that cannot be verified because the records are inadequate, such as those who may have had the same last name and resided in the same area as your known ancestors. If a deceased person was born within the last 110 years, permission from the closest living relative must be obtained before the ordinances are performed. The closest living relatives are the spouse, children, parents, and siblings. Do not submit names of persons who are not related to you, including names for famous people or names gathered from unapproved extraction projects, such as victims of the Jewish Holocaust. So what information do you need to find to do temple work? You need a name, a gender, and enough information to uniquely identify the person, such as dates, places, names, and relationship to other family members. For sealing to parents, you need only a name. For sealing to a spouse, you need a given name or a surname of a spouse. Check and resolve duplicates. If you get a yellow warning sign when submitting a name to the temple, it is telling you you need to resolve the duplicate before doing the temple work. Verify information using sources. Ideally, you should include as many sources as you can find. When searching for an ancestor, make a diligent effort to find their spouse and their children and their parents. Temple work may be done under the parents only or under the spouse only, and the system may pick up only one of these. We may end up doing temple work that has already been done. This is not wasted time. If the parents or children don't have their work done, you could submit their work also. The Lord doesn't want just individuals. He wants to save them with their families. The temple icon is found at the top of every page. The temple list has 5 sections. Reserved are the names you have reserved. They stay there for 2 years until you do the work or pass them on for others to do. You can see your list of not printed and printed names. Shared, these are the ordinances you share with the temple or with others. And Ordinance Ready works like the app on your phone to find people in your reservation list or shared list that need ordinance work done. If you don't have anyone on either of these lists, the program will find names related to you, but someone else has reserved. It then goes out 10 generations of your ancestors and 5 generations of their descendants to find someone who needs temple work. And if they can't find anyone in the previous 4 areas, they will give you names not related to you, but have been shared with the temple. In any case, it is always wise move to go in and check out the names given to you. They say they don't find names with duplicates, but I have found several names with duplicates within a family. No sense repeating temple work that has already been done. When you check on the words Temple Ready, it gives you the choice of choosing which ordinances you want to do. In the blue area, the church will let you keep your ancestors on the temple list for 2 years before they unreserve them for others to do. The drop-down under the legend tells us what all the colors mean. Refer to the Help menu and type in any keywords you want to know about, and an article will be available to help you know about any feature in FamilySearch. As soon as I put a check mark by a name on my temple list, these 3 blue boxes come up. I can click on Print to print family ordinance cards right from my own computer, or a list or FOR if I wanted to have that record and have the temple print them out. Or I can click Share to share with the temple or with family and friends. I will now submit Alice Liddy Aldridge for temple work. As I put a check mark by her name, I will click on Print. I am choosing Baptism, Confirmation, and Initiatory for now, so I can put a check mark beside these ordinances. The endowment and sealing to parents will stay on my temple list until I am ready to print them out or share them. Click Continue. The top screen comes up next saying it is preparing to print. Hit Continue. The bottom screen then appears and I will print it out. I click Print. After it prints out, cut around the dotted line and take it to the temple. You can only get 3 cards on an 8.5 by 11. This is what the different cards look like. Family Tree can also be downloaded as a free app on your phone. It is very user-friendly and you can do almost everything you can on your computer as you can on your phone. There is a presentation in this series entitled Using the Family Tree mobile app. Boyd K. Packer said, "The Lord will bless us as we attend to the sacred ordinance work of the temples. Blessings there will not be limited to our temple service. We will be blessed in all of our affairs." This is a beautiful promise.